This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Get your mother-loving ears on because your big-time radio DJ's got news. PayPal lets you choose how you want to pay for all the stuff. With PayPal, I can pay in-store, pay online, or pay over time. What's that? You want this translated into song? I hope you're sitting down. You can pay your own way. You keep those ears on, you hear? Don't just pay, baby. PayPal.
Learn more at paypal.com.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Fan.
Jared takes, stumbles coming out of there, wants to throw, does that. You got a man wide open. Sam Laporta, touchdown Detroit Lions. Oh my goodness. Jared stumbled coming out from behind center, regained composure, regained his grip on the football, and then threw it down to a wide open Sam Laporta for a touchdown.
The voice of Dan Miller, play-by-play voice on the radio for the Detroit Lions, and also a sports director at Fox 2 in the Motor City. And Dan, one of my favorites, joins us now. Dan, what excites you more right now? The Lions and the NFL draft, Lions selected 28 for now, or the Pistons and the New York Knicks knotted at 1 in the series coming back to the Motor City?
Then I'll put the Lions on the clock after that. It's look, this Pistons thing has been a long time coming, and they've been irrelevant for a long time, and pro basketball hasn't been fun to watch around here for a long time. And, you know, they had a kind of a moment with Blake Griffin, but nobody really took that seriously or thought that it had any staying power. But this does. And the turnaround from last year to this year, where it was just miserable, to this year, it's an enjoyable team that you can sit down and watch and believe they have a chance to win. They're doing things the right way. It's just really been fantastic. And it looks like it's something that's built to move into the future with a star to build around in Cade Cunningham and some of the other young players and then the vets that they've added. So, look, it's a really good time to be a sports fan in Detroit with the way the Tigers have started. And, you know, Lions, look, the draft is one of the biggest events in all of sports, and it's big in every NFL city. And then what the Pistons are doing. So it's unfortunate the Wings couldn't close it out and kind of have their part in this April as well, but this has been a lot of fun, and fans are really enjoying it.
Lastly on this topic, J.B. Bickerstaff, he was a former weekly guest on this radio show when he played for the University of Minnesota. Then he's been coaching all over the NBA. I'm a big fan of J.B. Bickerstaff, how he handles man, how he works with all different types of person. I would imagine they love him in the Motor City, right? He's done a good job.
Oh, he's been terrific. And look, Monty Williams last year was just a disaster. And, you know, part of that's on him, part of that's on the team for, you know, basically taking a coach who told them several times, I don't want to coach, I want to take a year off, and just throwing more money at him and more money at him until he couldn't say no, and sat up there the day he was hired and said, basically he was there because he couldn't turn down the money. And, you know, it wasn't as if he was saying he didn't want to be there, but it was just a bad situation all the way around. And JB has come in here with Trajan Langdon and just changed the culture of the organization and the way that they present themselves and do things and develop players. And he's been terrific. And look, PA, I know you got some DC in your background as well. I remember growing up when his dad was second on the bench to Casey Jones with the Bullets. So it's kind of a full circle moment for me now, covering his son out here and watching this thing work. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. And before that, think about it, Dan. It's 2025. Dick Motta, former coach of the Washington Bullets.
Yeah.
What would happen now on social media if his team was down 3-1 in a series like they were to George Gervin and Larry Keenan and the San Antonio Spurs when he said this? If he's quoted as saying, "The opera ain't over till the fat lady sings."
I always love that.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and those are moments you think about how they resonated when we didn't have that, when we had to read about it in the next day's paper, and we didn't get it 10 minutes later on ESPN or coming across, Twitter or whatever it was. And I actually had the chance to, and we'll go a little inside baseball here. I did something with George Gervin probably about 6 months ago, and I said, man, I got to tell you, when I was growing up, a couple of your series with the Bullets were just amazing. And we talked for about 5 or 10 minutes about those series, and he didn't come out on the right end of any of those, and he's still kind of angry about it. But those were amazing, amazing baskets. The kind of series that we all have somewhere in our life that you never forget. And those were, for a young sports fan like me, a series that I never forgot.
Dan Miller calls Lions games on the radio.
Fox.
And he's done it for right around a couple of decades, one of the kinder people in the game. And with the NFL draft today, round number 1, the division champions, the team with the the proverbial targets on the backs would be the Detroit Lions. So 28, defensive end to complement Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, that sounds good enough to eat. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like. The one thing is, I think we've learned with Brad Holmes that you just don't know what he's going to do. And trying to think, assess a need and apply it to that position and assume that there's a player, and here's the key, that he likes there, becomes the difficult thing. Yeah, there's no question what you're saying makes the most sense if everything lined up perfectly. It feels like a big guy in one way or another, whether it's an interior defensive lineman because Aleem McNeil's not going to be ready for a while. DJ Reader would be going into the last year of his contract next year. Or an interior offensive lineman where they lost Kevin Zeitler. They do like Christian Mahogany. I don't know how many more years Frank Ragnow wants to play. And, Graham Glasgow was not terrific last year. He had some injuries. Question is how much of it's injuries, how much of it's age. So interior offensive line, I think, is something they'll address at some point. It feels like at 28, something from that group will be available based on what this draft looks like. And I wouldn't be surprised. You saw him move up last year for Terrion Arnold. I wouldn't be surprised when they move back, but I also wouldn't be surprised if there's somebody they target that they feel like they can move up. I think they feel good enough about their depth chart that they would give up some capital if somebody that they really like is sitting there and there's a deal that makes sense with another team. So that's a long way of saying I think there's a lot of possibilities, but that's also what you deal with when you're picking 28.
Now, with safety,
it was easier when we were picking third all the time. I could
right.
narrow it down a lot better.
Now safety Kirby Joseph got that new deal, and DJ Reed was the signature free agent they brought in from the Jets. I mean, you got Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, DJ Reed. What a wonderful starting point with Hutchinson rushing the quarterback. Whatever's done in the draft, wow. I mean, that's Kirby Joseph is a really nice player, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about Kirby that they talked about when he was drafted was ball skills. And he's got 17 interceptions in 3 years. I mean, and he led the league in interceptions last year. He's kind of exactly the guy that they told us he was when they drafted him, and better. I mean, you don't anticipate that a third-round draft pick is going to become the highest-paid safety in the NFL, but he does things the right way. He's a good kid. He's a good locker room guy. He's just, earned every cent that he got paid. And, there's interesting times, just to kind of broaden that conversation, coming for this Lions team, because you still you mentioned it. You've still got Branch who's going to need an extension at some point, and Aiden who's going to need an extension at some point, Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. And you just wonder, at some point, how many of these guys they're actually going to be able to pay when you look at all the extensions that are already on the books. It's great to have this depth chart, but I do look at this and wonder at some point, and throw Jamison Williams in there as well, somebody could be the odd man out. It's just impossible in this league to pay as many guys as they have sitting there right now by my eye.
You know, lastly here, one of the final two is it wasn't, there was a signing the Lions made that was not ballyhooed. I mean, a lot of people around the league were like, okay, we're happy for Roy Lopez. I'm telling you right now, ma'am, because I know people on the Arizona Cardinals coaching staff who used to be here, including Jonathan Gannon, their head coach. You guys got a good player in Roy Lopez, man. I don't know what they're saying about him up there, but his arms are long. He's super active. He's like a born leader. But I bet you that helps from a defensive tackle standpoint.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you bring that up because you're right. That's kind of an under-the-radar signing that they made. But when you listen to, you know, Brad Holmes or you listen to Dan Campbell talk about him, they really like him. And it's all the intangibles that you mentioned. It's the nastiness. It's the ability to be a part of a rotation. It's the player that he is, the man that he is. And I think, again, it's interesting that you bring this up, and I'm really glad to hear that you hear the same things because, and I don't want to make him out to be, you know, somebody that's going to come in and dominate the line of scrimmage, but you need these guys that are glue guys that come in there and can be in your rotation and be good locker room guys and be good leaders and be examples of what it is to be a football player. And those are all the things that we've been hearing about him. It's talent and it's intangibles as well for a guy that, as you said, was not a ballyhooed signing, but all the things that we're hearing about him is that he's going to be a really nice contributor. And you've got to have those guys. The big, you know, guys with the bright lights on them, that's great, but they don't make up your whole team. There's a whole lot of guys other than that have to chip in and be contributors, and it sounds like they believe that's what he is, and it's great to hear that you're hearing the same thing.
Appreciate you, brother. Enjoy the evening, and we'll talk soon. Okay, Dan?
Thanks, PA. Always good.
See you, bud. Dan, the man on the fan, box for the Detroit Lions, and I'm also sportscaster and sports director for the Fox affiliate in Detroit. Means he's all over it. Tigers with Scooble. The Pistons 1-1 with Cat and the Knicks, and then, of course, the NFL Draft Lions at 28 this evening.
Fox.
Alec Lewis is our final guest today, covers the Vikings for The Athletic and theathletic.com. He takes place after a short pause, and this.
Yeah, first of all, you can check out Alec Lewis and his backwards hat and his analysis on video. The stream is going all day thanks to our buddies at Heating and Cooling 2, the website heatcool2.com. Thank you to those guys for bringing you all day streaming of KFAN content. KFAN.com/watch is the place to go to watch. Now, with that said, we got a cash contest. So KFAN.com, before you watch, the keyword is bank, thanks to BigDeck.com. And the Fan, they want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. The keyword is bank at
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's $10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary. Ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal Checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Spring into savings during Blinds.com's Spring Black Friday sale, happening now. Freshen up your home with brand new custom window treatments for less. At Blinds.com, shopping online for custom window treatments doesn't mean sacrificing on service, selection, or style. As the #1 online retailer of custom window treatments, Blinds.com has hundreds of options to fit any decor and budget. Choose from stylish roller or bamboo shades, blackout options, and more. We even have motorized shades for your patio, DIY, or let our experts handle the heavy lifting. Blinds.com has you covered with free virtual consultations. We'll even send a pro to do the measure and install. Try before you buy with free samples delivered to your door. With over 25 million windows covered, every order's backed with Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop Blinds.com's Spring Black Friday sale now for up to 50% off site-wide, plus a free professional measure. Save up to 50% at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Indecision. Overthinking. Second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
KFAN.
9 to noon.
There we go, Paul!
Time for two more. If we were to live stream via the Alec Lewis Show podcast, if we were to live stream the media room at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, say beginning at like 5 o'clock today through pick 24, what would we see?
It's pretty quiet in there. Some of the writers who attend, and good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
If I knew I was going to be on camera, I wouldn't have worn a bat. I wouldn't have dressed like I'm a college kid.
You're on this radio station more than me.
But if you were to put a camera in the media room, you're going to see some writers just bashing some food that is created and made by likely the TCO Performance Center chefs.
Yeah.
But it's pretty quiet.
That food in the third floor cafeteria is high end.
Well, they'll take that elevator, they'll put some food on a cart, and they'll bring it all the way down there for us. And I mean, that's really, of the questions that I have tonight, there are many, but one of them is, what is the spread going to be in there? Is it, are we lucky enough to get lamb chops?
Really?
Is it going to be taco bar?
I make tacos favored.
Yeah, tacos would probably be on FanDuel. It'll be interesting, but very excited that the draft is here. I've written probably enough about the draft for a lifetime, and looking forward to seeing what happens.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com, at Alec_Lewis via Twitter. There you can learn more about the aforementioned podcast, the Alec Lewis Show podcast. And into the draft tonight, you got all the steam squared away? Any late changes to the equation?
What's your steam?
I predicted earlier on the Power Trip Morning Show.
Oh, okay.
The Minnesota Vikings at 24, if available, would select Alabama guard Tyler Booker. And Gray Zabel, the North Dakota State guard, is absolutely, I believe, in play. I actually think Booker will go ahead of Zabel tonight. So, yeah, that's what I got. What do you got?
You're all over the place.
I'm not?
No, I like those two. I like those two names. That's probably where I would start.
Guard.
Yeah, I mean, interior offensive line. The idea of having a guy like Gray Zabel who has the flexibility to potentially play center in the future, to potentially, I mean, if he were to have to play right tackle in the future, that's intriguing. Tyler Booker is more of the, it's funny. I texted with an NFC executive yesterday.
How is Ryan Pauls? I've heard a lot about what they're going to do at 10, but I haven't talked to him in a while.
And the way that this executive described Tyler Booker was, he is a phone booth brawler. I'm not really sure what that means. I've never really experienced the phone booth. I'm a little too young for that. But no, watching Tyler Booker, he is, you get all your draft descriptors, strong hands, good anchor,
born leader.
And really, like, that's the thing with Tyler Booker.
He was a team captain.
Is you're betting as much on the person with him. We've heard 700,000 times that they want smart and tough football players who love football. And he would fit that bill kind of directly. He also has experience with J.J. McCarthy.
I didn't know that until recently.
In his background. So, I mean, the question for me, more than anything else, and the most interesting kind of aspect would be if I'm sitting in that meeting room and you're at the draft party and the folks driving around listening to this or watching on the live stream right now see Zabel off the board, Booker off the board, and the Vikings are at 24, then it becomes a very interesting situation for me to watch. Is Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon who's versatile in the front, does he become the guy? Well, I've heard some stuff. Derek Harmon, there's some medical stuff with him. It kind of sounds like shoulder hip. How serious is it? I'm not going to pretend to be an orthopedic surgeon here, but that's an interesting one. If it's not that, is it defensive back? I mean, every mock draft in the history of the world has had Nicky Manwari from South Carolina. For me, that player is probably a little in the prototype of like a Lewis Cine. That scares me a little bit. So would it be a defensive back? Would it be a cornerback? Jahdae Barron? Would it be Will Johnson from Michigan if he falls like that? That would be the most, I guess. I mean, it would be a little bit. I mean, it would be interesting, and I'd be like pretty anxious to see what they would do if those two interior players are off the board.
Well, where I may be stuck tonight doing the Vikings draft party radio show at US Bank Stadium is if Booker and Zabel are both available. I mean, because now we got to ride. If God gave me any form of a gift of discernment, then I got to ride it tonight. I don't think there's a chance both are available at 24. But I mean, if they were, I firmly believe they would take one of them, don't you?
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if both those guys are on the board at 24. And the Vikings didn't take one of them. Yeah. I'd be pretty surprised. I will tell you.
I'd go DB. Like if they're both gone, I would absolutely go defensive back.
Are you talking cornerback or safety?
Great question. That's a great question. And I can't answer it. And, I don't have a name. I just, from what I believe is if they can't get their way to specifically one of them or either one aren't available, defensive back will be the selection at 24. I don't have a name.
Here's the interesting aspect of that. So let's just take cornerback for a second. Mm-hmm. I just looked this up when I was sitting back there with Nordo as he was doing the production. Last year, Byron Murphy Jr., Stephon Gilmore, and Shaq Griffin were on the field together like 25% of defensive snaps. So not like
they got bored with Shaq late.
Well, they got bored with him late, but they also love playing with three safeties, two deep safeties, and Josh Metellus as like a slot defender, and then they usually play with two cornerbacks. So a Byron Murphy Jr. and an Isaiah Rodgers, like that's how I would peg it. And then if they played with three cornerbacks right now, you'd probably have Okudah. So in play, maybe Mekhi Blackman, but to add a player like Jahdae Barron, he's in the same like mold of a player, smaller guy, shorter in stature. I love him as a player, and I think Brian Flores would love him as a player. But if you don't play a ton with three cornerbacks, it's just interesting. The other safety, if we're talking defensive back, safety, I mean, I'm confident in that this defensive staff believes Theo Jackson can be an everyday, every down type of player as a deep high safety. You heard Harrison Smith talk about Theo Jackson the other day, and he couldn't have been more effusive in his praise. Kevin O'Connell at the owners meeting in West Palm Beach said to me, or to the entire beat, he's like, when you draft in the first round, you need immediate impact. And so if you were to draft a safety, where does that come if they believe in Theo Jackson as much as I strongly kind of feel like they do? So defensive back is just an interesting conversation. I would more lean interior defensive line, but the odds and stuff online and all of the mock drafts from a lot of the national people that I've seen probably wouldn't be in my favor, but that's just my inclination from everything I know.
With the off-season workouts beginning a couple of days ago, happen to know how the attendance is? I mean, they don't. Public relations doesn't share it. They don't have to share it. Coaches don't share. They don't have to share. But I mean, if you tap on somebody or you just ask like the attendance, do you think, I'm certainly not going to say all are there, but a majority seem to be there.
Yeah, I expect it to be pretty good. I almost put this on social media the other day, but I almost felt like it was too flowery. But I really, you've heard players in past years here that I've covered say, like, they enjoy showing up to work. And it's kind of like when you enter a certain grade that you're in a class that you're really pumped about, you're like excited to get back to school and see all your friends. I kind of get that vibe from this team. Harrison Smith does not at all have to be in Minnesota for these off-season workouts. Right. Brian O'Neill does not at all have to be there, and both of those guys are there. I also, for me, it's also surrounding J.J. McCarthy and kind of starting to build like this new leadership core in some ways without kind of an experienced quarterback at the helm, to where I would expect the guys like Harrison Smith and Brian O'Neill, who are Aaron Jones, cornerstone leadership figures, they kind of want to be a part of it as they build this thing from the ground floor.
Do you hit the backup quarterback beat? I mean, you're on it now. Something pops, you're going to put it out there, but the draft is the A topic at this moment.
Of course.
So how hard do you hit the backup quarterback beat after the draft?
Well, I mean, what do you mean by hit it? I mean,
you think something will transpire relatively soon?
Potentially. I like Kevin O'Connell was asked about it, and the question was essentially phrased something to the effect of, do you hope to do the backup quarterback thing soon? And Kevin O'Connell started to answer with, hope is an interesting word to use, which would make me think that they have a pretty defined strategy of what they want to do. But there's not that many options. I mean, that's the unspoken truth.
Well, there actually are a lot of options.
Oh, okay. Easton Stick. Easton Stick actually is gone. Yeah. He's actually with
when I say
Falcons
a lot of options, there are a lot of names.
Yeah. Ryan Tannehill is still available.
Aiden O'Connell.
The Raiders could trade Aiden O'Connell. I watched the film of him last year against the Chiefs. It was not enjoyable. Sam Howell.
Yeah. I've always liked Sam Howell.
Yeah, I don't know why, but again, I'm just being straight with you.
Okay. I know he's a turnover machine.
He is.
He's gifted. Sam Howell's a very gifted player.
Yeah, I mean, he's an NFL quarterback. He is.
Well, he's kind of like Mullins. He's going to throw 2 for your team, and he's going to throw 2 to the other team.
Along the way, he's going to get you.
Might throw more than 2 to the other team.
But along the way, he's going to get you 400.
No. Am I on? I mean, I didn't mean to just absolutely.
It was awesome.
Go shredding, but
it was terrific.
I mean, the Kirk Cousins one is interesting to me.
Not interesting. It's fascinating to you. I read Twitter.
I use those 2 words, and my dad's like, can you just go to the dictionary or the synonym, whatever thesaurus you call that?
Is it fascinating to you?
It is.
Well, it shouldn't be. I was trying to get you back.
Yeah. We can talk more about Sam Howell. You like him.
It's fascinating.
Do you like Sam Howell more than Joe Flacco, or what do you think?
Quite honestly, I can't pick Sam Howell out of a 2-person lineup standing next to Lamar Jackson. I just know he's gifted. But what fascinates you
about the Kirk one?
QB2 Kirk.
I mean, it's hard for me to argue that being the best insurance option right now. You don't have to deal with the mayhem of Aaron Rodgers at all whatsoever. And he is also more capable if he had to step in and play than Tannehill, Aiden O'Connell, Sam Howell, whoever else, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins. I mean,
what about Streveler? Streveler was with O'Connell in the Rams.
I heard the name the other day, Logan Woodside. I'm like, is that a real name? Or what are we?
I thought it was a blue liner for the Golden Knights. Oh, wait, that's Zach Woodside.
Yeah. When are we going to talk about Boldy, by the way? No, it's the Kirk one is just like, here's the thing with Kirk. If there is a starting opportunity for him and the Atlanta Falcons are willing to trade him, that's where I would expect Kirk to be. But if there's not a starting opportunity and the Falcons want to trade him, I am of the belief he would rather be a backup here than he would in that situation. Why? Because he has teammates here that he likes and that like him. He has a coaching staff that he likes and that likes him. He has a training staff that he really likes. He likes living in Minnesota. Do I think he'd move back here? Yes, I do. And am I of the belief that if he doesn't have a starting opportunity, the backup job here exceeds what he would prefer, the environment of Atlanta? For me, it kind of makes some sense. Now, the questions that some fans would probably ask is, we don't want his shadow kind of looming over JJ McCarthy.
I like that with him.
I just believe enough in JJ McCarthy's confidence in himself to where he would not. I mean, this guy won a freaking national championship at Michigan. Like, I would expect him to be able to handle having a veteran quarterback of Kirk's kind of personality and makeup behind him. So it's a fascinating. It is for me.
That's Alec Lewis from the Alec Lewis Show.
Aiden O'Connell.
It was the bomb. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So follow Alec at Alec_Lewis via Twitter. Our final segment will include some adversarial intel that greatly could impact the future of the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's $10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out. Indecision. Overthinking. Second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
And that's next.
Man. I can't wait. Again, thank you to everybody for watching 9 to noon and the streaming throughout the day right here on the Fan. And you can continue to do so, or if you haven't yet, check out KFAN.com/watch. As you heard that liner there, big voice guy talking about heating and cooling too. Heating and cooling too. Thank you for bringing draft coverage these last several weeks in up to pick 24 this evening. You'll get to hear that right here on the Fan. HeatCool2.com. Final segment, 9 to noon, is upon us.
But it could be too late.
45 minutes past the hour. You're listening to the home of the National Football League Draft, FM 100.3, KFAN. 7 o'clock tonight, big radio show from U.S. Bank Stadium, the palatial purple paradise. Yours truly, Ben Lieber, Pete Bursich, Paul Charchian. We start at 7 o'clock, a bevy of interviews to take place on site. They will include Hall of Famer-to-be, Jared Allen, former running back Adrian Peterson could be in the mix. Inside linebacker Blake Cashman, I think, will be in the mix. Running back Aaron Jones, he'll be in the mix. Maybe Josh Metellus, et al. this evening, 7 o'clock.
It's a good lineup.
FM 100.3, KFAN.
You can't get Boldy on pregame?
No, but I'll be thinking about him.
Trust me, I will be too.
Have you ever had a Wild-related tweet that did not involve Matt Boldy?
Absolutely not. I don't care about anything else, but just execution in the zones is really what I care about, and he delivers.
Well, when he scored that first goal in game 2, with the hand-eye coordination, what was it that you liked that led you to the tweet machine?
It's just excellence rises up in those occasions.
No
doubt. So, that's what I like.
Big players make big plays in big moments.
That's what happens, and that's what he is. So nothing more that I need to say.
You're going to the Wolves game tomorrow? Oh, wait. Rounds 2 and 3 of the draft.
Right.
You can't string for Krasinski.
Yeah, but John's getting a little strategic. No, we'll see. I probably will be focused on draft stuff. I'm pumped for these later rounds. Like I've put in a lot of work on some of these.
No
the 97, 139. Your Ty Feltons from Maryland. Your Gavin Bartholomew's from Pittsburgh.
I gave you 211 or whatever it is.
Oh, they don't have 211. So
what's their last pick?
I think 187.
I gave you 187.
Jimmy Horn Jr.
I got all his albums.
You love Jimmy Horn Jr.
I got all his albums.
It's a good name to give. That's some high end steam you got there.
We'll see. It's not steamy. I started going with Jimmy Horn Jr. about 2 months ago after child graduates from University of Colorado in 2.5 weeks. So I've seen Jimmy Horn Jr. play live 3 times, and I love him.
Yeah, this is like a mid-January, late January Jimmy Horn vibe that he's been cultivating 9 to noon.
Well, I'm validating this. Your evaluation from the stands has been validated by those internally. That's some steam that I've gotten. Now, I might not get any more after.
Wait a second. You're telling me that you have inside TCOPC steam. Somebody likes Jimmy Horn Jr.
Not anymore.
I haven't asked one person over there.
I'm just saying that might be the last steam after I just said what I said about the quarterbacks that I said last segment. So okay. I'm getting a little concerned.
Kevin Stefanski says Travis Hunter is uniquely equipped to play both sides of the ball. And you believe they'll take Hunter too?
I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Right.
I don't know why the Titans aren't either taking him one or trading back, but that's just me.
I mean, is he really going to play corner and wide receiver in a lot of games? I'm shortchanging him, and yeah, I've watched him, and Pat Shurmur has excellent things to say about him, but I just don't want people to forget, and I've shared this with a fair amount of guests, who have joined talking about him, including you, Field Yates, Jordan Reed, people like that.
Mel Kiper.
When Pat Shurmur joined 9 to noon, first day of the combine, I asked him, what about practice? When you do this? And he's like, well, it was all offense. So he didn't practice. He barely practiced defense when he was in Boulder. That ain't the case in these complicated NFL bits, Well,
I will say this. Colorado's defensive coordinator is a guy named, I think the name's Robert Livingston. Mm. He had been a DB's coach in Cincinnati with Lou Anarumo, so he had an NFL background. So whether he practiced or not, that system, do I think it's an NFL system that they run defensively at Colorado? No. Does it have, mechanism details from it? Potentially. So I'm not going to doubt this guy because he's done it. At this level, and like people doubted Shohei Ohtani, and the comparison is absurd because Shohei is one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen in person.
But baseball, such a violent, physically taxing sport.
Right? No, you're right. What Shohei does isn't impressive at all. That's
Sam Howell's a better pitcher.
No, that's a good point. No, yeah, Sam Howell. He might be a better. He might be able to throw 95. I don't know. No, Travis Hunter.
He's more apt to throw to number 95, who's a defensive lineman.
If Travis Hunter is as kind of in it and committed as it sounds like he is, I'm not gonna question it if he wants to do it. And you would hope that the coaches would be able to kind of adapt and figure out a way to help him do it.
The Alec Lewis Show podcast with ESPN's Jordan Reed. Who were some late round players of interest you guys discussed?
Some of them I just mentioned. Ty Felton from Maryland, Jimmy Horn Jr. from Colorado, Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech. He's a receiver. some defensive tackle type players. I mean, if they go interior offensive line at the top.
He loves some Kansas interior offensive lineman.
Yeah, I don't know that. I can't remember that guy's name. Like but yeah, I mean, Cal's Noel Williams at cornerback is an interesting name. Za Frazier from UTSA is an interesting name. There's Brashard Smith from SMU, the running back. I was talking to an AFC person yesterday who loves that guy as a player.
Well, how is Thomas Dimitrov?
Is he in the AFC? I thought he was like a media member.
How is Andrew Berry?
Yeah, Andrew's great. Those are some names. I'd say maybe more than the Vikings still are that tight end 3 after losing Johnny Munt. That's still, for me, a spot that maybe with one of the late rounds could make sense. So
I agree.
I love those, seeing what players they take in those spots. So I can't wait.
I'd bet in front of the Vikings, I'd bet Green Bay takes the Boston College defensive end.
Ezaraku?
Yeah, Ezaraku. Thank you. I'd bet, but I wouldn't bet a lot, that they take him. So what I'm getting at here is everybody can always use offensive line. And I know the Packers made the big move for Aaron Banks to get him from San Francisco to play guard. They still could use offensive line help. I mean, they're moving Elton Jenkins to center. That's their best offensive lineman. He's going on a position change. That's aggressive. So, that could be a guard spot, outside chance, if there's to be snipe ability at 23, or the Texans wanting something badly, and they jump up ahead of the Vikings. Think there could be any snipe ability there?
Well, I mean, one of the snipe abilities that you didn't just mention, I didn't listen to Dan Miller, but interior for the Lions as they look forward, to me, shouldn't be totally ruled out. So the worry in the back of my mind would be, okay, Zabel and Booker off the board. The Giants or Browns want to come up for a quarterback, so let's trade back and try to get Donovan Jackson. Then at 28, the Lions do Donovan Jackson. You get sniped. Then you lose out on all of those guys that you liked, and then it becomes disaster type situation.
Then you sell Walter Rouse hard during the post-draft press conference.
Michael Juergens has been lifting well in the weight room with Tyler Williams overlooking him. I mean, it's been unbelievable.
But do you guys see him?
Yeah. Walter Rouse. I saw Walter Rouse the other night, actually, late night. So he looked in good shape. So
hey, enjoy the draft.
Yeah, thank
you. We'll be following at Alec_Lewis from afar. Alec Lewis Show podcast. Also watch that when you get the opportunity. Appreciate the time. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Good to see you, Nordo, too.
Good to see you.
Alec Lewis. I'm Paul Allen. Back with you this evening at 7 from the palatial Purple Paradise. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to noon. Here comes Big Daddy Khan with a wrap on the show.
Thanks again to Heating and Cooling, too, for bringing you all KFAN draft content.
Big boy's back!
Not this, though, a mediocre rap. A draft day, it's a talker buffet. We gather at Kroll's West to party in Green Bay. You can park on Grandma's Lawn by Lambeau, by the way. One of the last places that take a check when you pay. Now, what do we see at 24? We delivered a bunch of names you've heard all before. The next first-round pick, hopefully future Vikings lore. Someone that has you driving to the liquor store. It is the most wonderful time of the year. Charge firing from the lip. He's got no fear. Paul, if the Vikes take this guy, it's the greatest ever. Always has the least traveled angle. Dude's clever. So tonight unfolds all the action. Tomorrow the feast. PA in charge for reaction and watching those Kaprizov passes in slow-mo. Friday, Howl in round 2 draft FOMO.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Hey, Janice Torres here.
And I'm Austin Hankwitz.
We're the hosts of Mind the Business Small Business Success Stories, produced by Ruby Studio and Intuit QuickBooks. Catch up on seasons 1 and 2 and join us for a brand new season of the podcast as we talk to small business owners about how they manage and grow their businesses with the help of platforms like Intuit QuickBooks.
Listen to Mind the Business Small Business Success Stories on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get your mother-loving ears on because your big-time radio DJ's got news. PayPal lets you choose how you want to pay for all the stuff. With PayPal, I can pay in-store, pay online, or pay over time. What's that? You want this translated into song? I hope you're sitting down. You can pay your own way. You keep those ears on, you hear? Don't just pay, baby. PayPal.
Learn more at paypal.com.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.